Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, the editor-in-chief of Total Retail, and I'm pleased to be joined on today's episode by Mari Corella, who is the general manager of eBay Home and Hard Goods. And we're going to talk to Mari a little bit about eBay, the eBay Refurbished program, and all the exciting things that entails. So thanks for joining me on today's show, Mari.
Thank you for having me.
So to get us started, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about your role at eBay, as well as the Refurbished program that we're going to talk about today.
Sure. So I am the general manager of US Home and Hard Goods, which also includes our eBay Refurbished program. I joined eBay in 2021, but I like to say that I've been with eBay for 25 years because that's how long I've been selling with eBay. My career started buying clothes and other goods from thrift stores and reselling them to a local vintage shop. And then when eBay came around in the late 90s, I saw this as a really great opportunity to start selling stuff. And it was the Wild West back then. I had spent $100 on a 2-megapixel camera that I was using for my listings and receiving checks in the mail because even PayPal didn't exist. And so loved what I was doing and wanted to build my career in e-commerce. And so built my career in the fashion beauty stream of the digital space and worked for companies like Gap, Saks Fifth Avenue, Avon, and LVMH. And I joined eBay 2 years ago to lead their apparel business, and then recently stepped into the role that I'm currently in, which is the general manager of eBay's Home and Hard Goods business, which again includes the eBay Refurbished program.
So I love that story. It's kind of come full circle for you at eBay, having been previously a seller on the platform and now with the organization. So you've really had that connection over the years to eBay. One of the things I wanted to get into, and eBay Refurbished is a great example of this, is how sustainability is thought about at eBay. So tell us a little bit about the role that sustainability plays across the organization and the work that you and your team are chipping in as you think about sustainability.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very hard to argue that when you extend the life of a product, that you are doing the best thing that you can to make it the most sustainable practice possible. When it comes to re-commerce, eBay is an OG in the space. We have been doing it for nearly 30 years. And we know the trust signals that would make someone either prefer or a bit hesitant to purchase a used good. And we make sure that we are mitigating that. And that's where the eBay Refurbished proposition comes in so well. And while I know that the audience here is primarily those in the professional retail space, I want to give it a consumer example of what the eBay Refurbished program is. So for all you pet lovers out there, there is the Dyson V10 Animal. It's an amazing product. It's a vacuum cleaner, but it just feels like so much more. But it's a very luxury purchase at nearly $600. But what if I told you that you could get that item for over 50% off? It's like new, comes in Dyson branded packaging and a 2-year warranty. You'd probably buy it because it's such an exceptional value and an exceptional product. And you'd be wowed to get it something so at such a great value. And that's essentially what the eBay Refurbished value prop is we are able to partner with brands to get their products back onto our platform, but in a way that they are like new, completely refurbished in brand packaging, and then at a very high discount to the consumer.
Yeah, it's a great example. And I like the fact that you mentioned that eBay was really an original player in the kind of resale market. You know, the company goes back, 30 years, and this has kind of been the business model that wasn't necessarily thought of probably when it was first started as the sustainability benefits, but that at today's day and age is so important to the consumer. So talk about how that commitment to sustainability is manifested across the company's overall product strategy as it relates to apparel. You know, there's so many different SKUs on the eBay marketplace. Talk about kind of how that commitment to sustainability is reflected across the overall product strategy.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we are experts when it comes to resale. So we know the trust factors that make consumers confident about buying a pre-loved product on our site. And in fact, we're so good at it that we sold $4.6 billion in pre-loved merchandise last year. And from a sustainability impact, that's the equivalent of 1.6 million metric tons of avoided carbon and 73,000 metric tons of avoided waste. So we're helping to eliminate products from going into landfills while putting money back into consumers and brands' pockets.
From the consumer perspective, what are you hearing from customers of eBay about the role that sustainability plays in their purchase decisions? Obviously, they want to come and get a great product. They want to get it at a great price. But if the added benefit of if it's more sustainably produced or it's being reused, is that factoring into their purchase decisions? What's the feedback you're getting from eBay's customers?
Yeah, absolutely. So sustainability is becoming more and more top of mind for our consumer, and it's playing a larger role in the decision-making process. So we know that sustainability is now the #2 reason for shopping refurbished. And of course, the #1 reason is cost savings. And then if you look at that from a generational perspective, this is being led by Gen Z. So we know that Gen Z is leaning more towards sustainability in their purchase decisions. Gen Z is a very, very unique audience because I think a lot of demographics, believe in the idea that keeping an item out of a landfill is good, but Gen Z they know exactly down to the small details of how it impacts the environment. And so because of that, they are much more conscious in how they are shopping for their brands, and they look to buy used goods. We know that from a larger perspective, consumers are seeking out refurbished. It's not as taboo as it used to be in the past. And in fact, we think that a lot of consumers are gaining confidence in even giving it as a gift. We know that this past holiday season, we had our strongest sales of refurbished products ever. And that's very promising because it shows that it's not just the value of the program that's creating value, but we know that outside of eBay, there is a consumer demand for this.
So thinking about the other side of the equation, the brands that are being sold on eBay, what's the perspective? What's the feedback from them as they fit into this? Their brands are kind of gaining a second life, being sold again. What do you hear from the brands that are being sold on eBay and how sustainability can be associated with their products as well?
Absolutely. So as someone who has been in the retail industry for 20 plus years, I have seen some very cringeworthy practices when it comes to how products are discarded either through returns or end of life. And it's not that brands seek to do this, but it really comes down to a number on the profitability sheet. It's now becoming more to the forefront. Brands are getting called out when their products are seen in dumpsters, for example. But in addition, I think brands are looking to find ways to generate as much profit as they can out of their pipeline. And a lot of that comes from looking to see, how can we make more margin out of those products that are returned or maybe at end of life. And that's where Refurbished comes in as a very strong value proposition, because there are smarter technologies that make it more efficient for brands to refurbish their products. Say, for example, a cell phone. Probably in the past, it would have been very cost prohibitive for a brand or even a seller to take back a used phone and make sure that it was operating, that there were no dead pixels, that it had a certain amount of battery life. Now there's technologies such as robotic grading that can quickly give you those statistics on a product, and therefore you're able to claim it as refurbished and sell a quality product without too much time or resource consumption. And so because of that, brands are really looking to see how they can really not really gain the profitability from their pipeline, but in addition, keep their items out of landfills, not just for the PR aspect, but also because I think there's a growing interest in just knowing that that is the right thing to do.
Yeah, there's the obvious social benefit of they're keeping their products out of landfills, but to your point, Mary, makes a lot of financial sense too, given the inventory pressures that so many retailers are finding ways to extend the life of inventory and without having to get rid of it in some other way and potentially make money off of it. It's a double win almost, right?
Oh, absolutely. And brands, a lot of brands now have sustainability goals, and re-commerce fits so clearly into that because they are extending the life of these products. They're keeping it out of landfills, and the consumer is able to see that they are participating in extending the life of their products. And so it's really great from a brand perspective as well.
So switching gears a little bit, Mari, let's talk about the consumer experience, particularly. So what initiatives have you put in place to kind of transform that refurbished shopping experience for visitors to the eBay marketplace? What can they expect when they come to the marketplace and look for these resale items?
So as I mentioned, eBay is an expert when it comes to resale, and we know all of the indicators that will make somebody feel confident about buying a used product on our site. So for example, if you wanted to buy a used Gucci bag on eBay, what would be your hesitations? Like you would want to know particularly that it was real. And so we have our authentication guarantee program where that seller ships the product to an eBay authentication center before it goes to the buyer. So the buyer definitely has that trust, confidence, knowing that they have a legitimate product at an exceptional value. So we take those same philosophies and we apply them to other areas of other categories that participate in re-commerce. And so for the electronics category, really the main question is, okay, it's a used electronic. How do I know for sure that it's going to work? How do I know that it's legit? So in the eBay Refurbished program, there are really two streams here. One is where it's coming directly from the brand. So you know that it's a legitimate product and you know that it's certified and refurbished to the highest standards and even comes with like new packaging, the manuals, you name it. So that's the highest confidence there. We also have the seller refurbished program where expert refurbishers go through a gated program where they have to meet particular metrics to even come into the eBay Refurbished program and meet specific guidelines in terms of the quality that they provide. So for example, when you list a phone on our site and you have to show that you have the technologies and the know-how to bring that phone up to a particular condition in terms of how it looks cosmetically, how it performs, does it have battery life, and so forth. And then even once you're in the program, we continually monitor those metrics. We want to hear from the end buyer. Are you satisfied with the product that you got? Did this seller indeed sell you a product in the condition that they stated? Did you run into any issues? And then to give that customer the additional confidence in buying from either of these programs, we make sure to give them a free 1 or 2 year warranty. And so we know that, even when you buy new, it's an electronic, things can go wrong. And so we want to make it easy for our sellers to be able to be happy with their purchase. So that means free 30-day returns and that 1 or 2 year warranty so that they are 100% satisfied and confident in their purchase.
Yeah, giving those consumers the peace of mind that they're making their purchase, and a little bit of that warranty helps to kind of take some, I don't want to say risk, but concern out of the consumer's mind, that right, when they're thinking about making a pre-owned purchase like that.
Absolutely. And it's great for the brands as well because, those warranties are covered by eBay. And so brands and independent sellers who are providing refurbished products, they don't want to necessarily be liable for what happens to the product after the return period. And so eBay offers a great value prop by offering that warranty, not just to the buyers, but it also protects our sellers.
And I'm looking, from the eBay website, and that refurbished program, it's right on the homepage. You can find it in your top navigation bar. So you're trying to make it easy for consumers that are coming to the site to find and access those products. I see that it's home, obviously, and then electronics. Are there other product categories that could potentially be part of this refurbished program, or this kind of the starting point?
Yeah, so we're still building upon the categories each and every day. So the categories are endless. And in my perfect world, we would extend this to all of eBay. But because, as I mentioned, we do vet all of our sellers into this program, and we want to make sure that the category guidelines are appropriate for our consumer as well, because a guideline for a refurbished cell phone is going to be much different than that of a used piano, for example. And so because of that, this program, which we launched in 2020, we are continuously building upon the new categories that we're opening up. So I tell you, probably if you come to our site in a week from now, you're going to see even more products and more brands.
Yeah, that's great. So my final question for you, Mari, is, what does success look like for eBay when it comes to this customer experience? Those that are shopping for refurbished products, what does success look like, and how are you kind of tracking your progress in that direction? What are the measurables that you're following?
Absolutely. Our vision is to make eBay the best destination to buy and sell refurbished goods. And as I mentioned, we've been in the space for nearly 30 years now. We have 133 million active buyers and 1.8 billion listings across more than 190 countries. We want to make sure that any hesitation to buy a pre-loved good on our marketplace is mitigated. And those signals are continuously changing. So eBay is continually on top of what is making a consumer feel confident or hesitant about buying a pre-loved good on our site. In addition, we are a phenomenal platform for brands to participate in re-commerce. Brands are looking to participate in re-commerce more and more, but they don't have the expertise to handle it. And so they look to eBay to be their partner in bringing second life to their goods.
Yeah, that breadth of product assortment, the authenticity, the verification of the legitimacy of the goods, and then those lower prices that you talked about. That example with the Dyson vacuum, it was a great example. It kind of speaks to all three of those high quality brands as well that are on the marketplace. So I want to take the opportunity to thank Mari Corella, again, who is the general manager of eBay Home and Hard Goods, for joining me on this episode of Total Retail Talks. Thank you, Mari.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.